I think we're live. Are we live?
You have to refresh this to see it on your computer.
I think so. Don't delete it. We need
I'm
that.
not deleting it. Don't worry.
It's refreshed.
Still says waiting.
Okay, maybe there's a delay. All right. Hello, everyone. See if this is going live yet. Looks like it's going live. Oh, there's a commercial. Have to wait for this commercial to finish first. There we go. We're good? I think we're good.
I think we're good.
All right. So I'm Shane.
I'm Deanna.
And we are DnSAdventures, if you didn't already know that. If you come across the dark realm of YouTube that is Fulltime RVing, then you might have come across our channel. So here we are.
Well, they must have come across our channel if they're here.
Well, yeah. Anyways, so yeah, this is our first episode of this new series that we're going to be doing. And the reason we're doing this series is to basically kind of show the lifestyle of full-time RVing rather than just our adventure videos that we mostly concentrate on for our normal edited videos. This way we can also interact with everyone and just go over all the different topics that are full-time RVing. So what's today's subject that we're going to be talking about?
We're talking about full-time RVing with pets. And by pets, we mean our one Greyhound.
Yeah, traveling with pets.
Yeah.
A lot of the stuff that we're going to go over today applies to all pets, but some of it is kind of dog specific as well, because most of our experiences with the guy behind the camera. Yeah, he's manning the camera right now via his bed. So.
Yeah.
You are live, RV Lifestyle Woot. Yes. All right. And if you are coming to this late, I do apologize for the whole timing of this. You may not have gotten a reminder because some reason my phone said an hour earlier, so that freaked me out. I was like, wait, no, we're supposed to go an hour later. Then I checked on YouTube, the schedule and everything, and it showed the correct time. So I don't know if my phone's just screwy or what, but we're live. Hopefully some more people trickle in. Sorry if this whole timing thing confused you like it did me. But all right, so we will continue. We do have a little bit of a structured segment, but then also if there's anyone that wants to chime in along the way, go ahead and feel free to do that. I use a lot of hand motions. I keep on seeing the replay. Let's see here. So we already went over that. So yeah, let's hop right into today's topic.
Sure.
So the first little subtopic.
Subject.
Yeah, subject is the joys of having pets around. I mean, that's one of the obvious benefits of having your pet along with you. And one of the main reasons, well, not one of the main reasons, that's kind of weird to say it like that, but one of the reasons we like having Blaze around is just having him along the trails with us. It's fun having him along as like a companion on the trails. And he loves to hike. Even at age 10 and a half, he still wants to go. He's always pulling on the leash as Deanna's pulling him around. Or he's pulling. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. So he's a very great companion on the trail and man's best friend. If you have a dog, if you have a cat,
maybe not so much.
They don't have the same title, but I still like cats too. Just anyways, that's
our preference for dogs might be a little bit clear after this, but
yeah. And I do have some cat allergies, so there we go.
That's part of it.
And they are part of the family, at least for us, very much part of the family, because we spend as much money on him as we would a child, at least recently.
Yeah.
So we'll go to that later when we get into another subject. But, and depending on your pet, he can guard your rig when you were gone. If you have a pet fish,
probably
maybe a feisty pet fish. If it looks angry enough, like if it's threatening to jump out of its tank, maybe a fish. But
people have sharks in their RV.
I mean, we've seen people with all sorts of pets in their RV, so I wouldn't rule it out. No?
Just imagine a campground having issues with pet sharks.
That's one of those things you just don't tell the campground host about. You just keep that to yourselves if you have a shark with them. Anyways, we might be getting a little sidetracked
Yeah.
here. Alrighty. So, I keep on bouncing from screen to screen here. So there's obviously more reasons. That's just the ones I wrote down in the bullet points here. What are some of the reasons you like having your pets along with you on your travels? It doesn't necessarily have to be full-time RVing, but why do you like to bring them around? Probably the same reasons we do.
Yeah.
But be interesting to hear your comments. Happy trails hiking. I am falling behind on this chat already.
They're kind of taking over.
You will be great. Head on with your content and people will rewind if they want to miss. Yes. Good point. Hit the thumbs up and say hello in the chat. Thank you.
Yes, please do that.
How do I make you a moderator?
There's like 3 dots over there.
3 dots.
Maybe.
Put user timer up. Oh, add moderator. That's where we go. So I gave you a little wrench next to your name now. You don't have to stay the whole time if you don't have time to do it. And then, is Blaze feeling better now? Yes, and we're going to go more into detail on that later as well. That's kind of a whole story. We'll try to summarize it because it's a long story.
Yeah.
And as long as the pet shark is not in the pool, it's probably okay.
Yeah, I imagine that would freak some people out.
Yeah, that and chlorinated water probably isn't too great on the shark
Not
either.
for shark.
Not that I'm a shark expert. I'm not. All right. Hey, Bruce. How's it going?
Hi.
Thanks for joining. People like to have their animals around for all sorts of reasons. They're fun in the campgrounds. Here we go. That's very true.
Mm-hmm.
So we're just going to go ahead and jump to the next subject because people are still trickling in here. Things to consider before going full-time with your pet. You want to take on the very first bullet point?
Sure. So first of all, I mean, if you're traveling a lot, does your pet enjoy traveling and do well in vehicles?
Yes, that would be a major one because I've heard of a few people transitioning to the full-time life and they're like, my cat, whatever, gets sick in the vehicle and it's tired. Like, they never really did a proper test run before they switched over to the full-time RVing. And I've also heard people actually getting rid of their pets before going full-time, which is kind of sad.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah. Luckily for us, Blaze loves car rides, and he just basically zonks out in the back seat of the truck as we're going down the road. So he has no issue whatsoever. We got really lucky with this guy.
Definitely.
So no training or anything that we had to do in order to get him acclimated to the RV life.
Yeah, and that would be unfortunate if your pet got car sick. I mean, maybe there's something you can do about that, but I don't know. That would be...
We're definitely not good pet trainers.
Yeah.
There's still a lot of stuff we need to train Blaze, but he's getting to be a little bit older, so we'll see if we can train him at all for some of these things. Second bullet point here is, have you taken your dog on longer trips before with them? Because that'd be a great way to kind of tell.
Yeah.
Like Deanna, she used to drive from New York all the way to Indiana.
Yeah.
When she was going to college.
Yeah, going to grad school there. So even before I adopted Blaze, I made sure he was a good fit for traveling, because I knew that would be something we'd be doing a lot. So
that was pre me too.
Yeah,
that was just Blaze and Deanna at that time. So.
They matched me with him based on my wants and needs, basically.
That's a good thing about these Greyhound
adoptions. Yeah, a lot of groups do that where you, like, they sit you down and they're like, okay, what are you looking for? And if that's something you want a companion to travel with you, then there you go. That's a good way to do it.
I'm gonna pause in here because I saw some more stuff going on in the chat here. Hi guys, sorry if Don says, hi guys, sorry if I missed the answer to this question. How do you keep Blaze cool when boondocking? I guess the short answer to that is we haven't really boondocked all that much yet.
Yeah.
That's something we want to do in the future, but some people you may want to check out their channel, Fate Unbound. They have a lot of pets.
Yeah.
And they almost boondock exclusively. So I would go hop over to their channel. I don't think Mountaintop Adventures, I don't think they have a pet.
No, they don't. Not that I'm aware of.
No, I don't remember seeing one. If they do, they're really good at hiding it in the videos. But I would go check out the channel Fate Unbound because they have like 2 bunnies, they have 2 cats, a dog.
Yeah.
So they're probably better on that. I like Getaway Couple, another YouTube channel. They actually had a video on a temperature monitor that you can actually keep an eye wirelessly on your, I think it's
Yeah.
through your phone over the cell signal. Keep an eye on what temperature is in your rig as you're gone. We have something we might be able to do where we haven't really tried it out yet, but we have a security camera that we can keep an eye on the RV or Blaze while we're out. Deanna was like, "Why don't you just put our normal?"
Put the temperature sensor kind of on the side so you can see it.
Yeah, you can just see it in the view of the live stream. So
yeah.
that's one way to look at it, to keep an eye on them. But as far as keeping it cool, we do have the it's not the Fantastic, it's this Max Air fan that if we could just leave windows cracked, a place or a safe window to leave cracked, we wouldn't want people getting in here. But most of our windows, I don't think a lot of people could fit through.
Yeah.
Unless,
except this one right behind us.
Yeah, we wouldn't leave this one open. But some of the smaller windows, I think we could leave cracked and leave that window open, as long as the batteries aren't being drained too much. I haven't actually left it running all night long on just the battery, but it's a really long answer for that question because we don't have a whole lot of experience.
I mean, if someone's looking for it, it's an important question to answer.
Yeah, and that's something we'd be thinking about too, if we do transition more to boondocking, which will probably end up being another topic in a different video.
Yeah, we're contemplating it. We'll leave it at that.
Yeah. Right, good question. Yes, I will make sure they see your question. We did see the question. I said they Fade Unbound Getaway Couples. Thank you. You guys are awesome moderators.
Yeah, you want to come join us every time we do this?
Do I have to pay you now? I don't know how this works. We'll pay in adult beverages next time we see you. How
there
about
you
that?
go.
I know you guys like to snack on those every once in a while too. Where did I leave off? So back to our little bulleted spreadsheet here.
We take this seriously.
I was gonna say it's not very formal, but honestly it's kind of formal because we actually have a bulleted list. I didn't spend hours on this or anything like that. No. So the next question is next bullet point is your dog or cat pet, is your fish well potty trained? The fish, I guess,
probably not.
But
for other animals.
But if you have a young puppy, it's something to consider.
Yeah.
When you're in a smaller enclosed area, I imagine. I mean, Blaze has actually gone in our rig before because of other situations, but normally he doesn't.
Yeah.
But if you have a small puppy that's just learning how to use the restroom, getting to go outside, it might be a good idea to try to train it before this. But some people do get dogs as they're already full-time RVing too. I don't know of anybody that I can reference for that, but I know. Well, Keep Your Daydream, didn't they get a?
Did they? Oh, I don't know. I haven't been in
I know they lost their last. I don't remember if they got a new one or not. I haven't been very good at YouTuber myself or watching other YouTube channels, but I think there's other channels out there that have that situation. Sorry, I kind of ramble sometimes.
Should I just elbow you when you're getting too far off?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, actually.
Because I noticed. I was like, oh.
Yeah. Rabbit hole, rabbit hole, rabbit hole.
Yeah.
Where am I?
I'm lost.
Yeah. Anyway, that was another rabbit hole. Anyways. So, are they good around other dogs is another big one. As you may have known from our last videos, Blaze has had instances where he's been approached by dogs that were not good around other dogs. There's only one real bad instance where he actually got bit by another dog, and that one was more of an accident, but just kind of a rule to always follow is, even if your dog is good off leash, I would probably still keep him on a leash because you don't know if other dogs are good. You know what I mean? Just trying to keep them separated.
I mean, that kind of goes for anywhere, but yeah, I mean, we seem to run into that a lot more than elsewhere. Like people who stay long term at an RV park and like they kind of think it's their territory, so the dogs can have issues with like
trying to keep their owner safe, protected. Yeah. So this one wasn't really the case. The one that bit Blaze, it was just a dog that happened to get off leash that really hates other dogs. It wasn't even a big dog. It was like this little terrier.
Yeah.
But they got a pretty good chunk out of Blaze, and we had to get him to the vet. I mean, he wasn't going to die from it, but it was something that
we're getting a little far off again.
Am I? Okay.
A little bit.
All right. Sorry. My bad.
Well, I thought we were going to also talk about that later, but maybe not.
Okay. All right. So, no payment necessary for Happy Trails hiking.
Oh, well, thanks, guys.
We have a list every time we go live. Yeah. All right. So next bullet point is, can they adjust easily to their surroundings? And that's kind of a big one because your surroundings are always going to be changing. So Blaze doesn't seem to mind. Yeah. The nice thing about RVing though is you do have your home with you, so that is something that never changes. You always come back to home base, but obviously when you go outside, they freak out because of that.
Yeah.
It's going to be a little bit harder for them to adjust.
Yeah, or if they're generally just kind of like a scared and nervous dog, I could see that being a problem. If they're just not used to like the same routine. Like Blaze likes routine, but he's okay with different surroundings. He doesn't seem to care if our walk is a different path one day than it was the day before.
Yeah, he's been all sorts of different landscapes and terrains, so he's pretty good for the most part.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Squirrel. Yeah. That's my life. Not just this subject or topic. I tend to ramble, like I say. And another topic is, or another bullet point is, are you okay with random vets checking up on your dog? Because unless you plan on circling around back to your home base every time for the annual appointment, which would be nice, but just to summarize, we don't do that.
Yeah, so we're always looking for new vets, and it's kind of hard with greyhounds because they're sensitive to anesthesia, and like they have some weird quirks that other breeds of dog don't have. So we're always trying to find vets that are knowledgeable about greyhounds, which can be a little tricky. But if you're in the same situation that we are, what we typically do is we will look around for like a greyhound rescue in the area we're looking, and then get advice from them for vets and like people to watch him and other things. So that's kind of our tip.
Yeah, I'm not sure how relatable that is to all breeds, because greyhounds really are kind of a special.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm sure a lot of places have like German Shepherd rescues and like other.
There might be some other breed specific things like that. Yeah. But yeah, we'll go into more of that later with our fun stories.
Yeah.
But is your RV big enough is another big one. And we found out with our 21-foot rig, technically it was big enough, but it was not very comfortable to live in. With the dog, always having to step over the dog wherever we walked over. Living room was still pretty big in that rig, but there just wasn't enough room. And here we probably have like 2 or 3 extra feet in our living room to kind of maneuver around. So is your RV big enough is a good one. It's obviously that's not just related to pets, but that's a big one for your dog, especially if you have a big one. Or if they don't like small spaces. Yeah,
some are capable of like folding up into real small corners. He's not. He just flails out everywhere in every direction. So he takes up a good, I don't know, how big is his bed? Like 3.5 by 5 feet.
I think it says right there on the side of it. It's like 46 by 36 or something like that. 48 by 36.
Yeah, 48 by 36.
So that takes up a big chunk of your floor space right there. Let's see here. Happy Trails Hiking had a question here. Do you carry all of Blaze's medical records with you then? Yes. Yes, we keep everything documented. Plus, I keep on saying, we're going to talk about this in the future, but dental records we now carry as well. So just trying to keep everything in for ourselves. We try to carry records and everything. So
yeah, mostly electronic. I really should scan in a lot of, because we have older stuff too. Really only need like the latest when you're going to the vet. So but yeah, we try to keep all of his records with us.
Yep.
Some campgrounds even ask for like this one did, like rabies tag numbers and stuff. So like they want, sometimes they'll even ask for like the certification of vaccination or whatever. Rarely, but we've had it happen.
Yep. And I don't know if that's under our next topic or not, or subject here. That was kind of the things to consider beforehand. There's obviously other things we didn't think about, but those are the ones we thought about. Here are some of the challenges we actually had to overcome with Blaze, as well as other challenges you might have with other pets as well. One specific to Blaze was having separation anxiety. This is kind of a big one wherever we go. He still hasn't gotten over that yet.
Yeah, I don't know how much of it is separation anxiety or just like he seems to have like fear of missing out, like FOMO.
Yeah, something.
He doesn't want to be left alone when we go places, and he thinks we're doing fun things.
Mm-hmm.
Like if the weather's really nice, it's like a little chilly, or like he likes the cooler weather. He's like, don't leave me, I want to go with you. Like even if we're just going grocery shopping, he thinks we're going like somewhere fun hiking.
That's true.
Him.
When it's really hot outside, he's just like, okay, maybe I'll just stay here.
Yeah.
He doesn't get as upset, but when it's nice and cool, he's more energetic. He wants to go with us, and he tends to bark a lot as we're trying to take off, which when you're in an RV park, that's sometimes you're packed in like sardines. It's not a good thing to have, and your neighbors make you a little angry at you.
Yeah.
So we tried all sorts of routines to try to get him out of it, but we still haven't conquered that one yet. So.
Yeah. We try to drive the truck away before we actually leave, so he doesn't hear the engine. We've tried giving him like all sorts of like calming treats and everything.
Not really working yet.
Seems to work very well.
He basically won that fight, and we tried to take him. Like, there's been a lot of national parks that really weren't dog friendly that we took him along with us just so we wouldn't be annoying our neighbors. So.
Yeah. Well, some of them are also so far away that like you have to keep in mind. Like we need to be in a specific location so we have phone service to be able to work. But then in some cases we're like an hour and a half from the like destination we want to go to, like a national park. Mm-hmm. So then like by the time you drive there and you come back, that's like 3 hours. So like how long reasonably can your dog stay alone before it needs to go to the bathroom? So like we, since he's a senior, don't like to leave him for more than like 4 or 5 hours at the most. So if we're going to a national park that takes 2 hours to drive there and back, like that only gives us like 3 hours to explore. So at that point, like we're better off just taking him with us and seeing more.
And just hopefully it's one of those national parks that are more dog friendly with something to do with your dog.
Yeah.
There are actually quite a few. We could probably do another video on that.
Or if the weather's cool and your dog is good in the vehicle, you could leave him in the vehicle while you go off and do something for half an hour, like a hike or something. And he's surprisingly okay with that for us. So sometimes we will just take him somewhere, like even grocery shopping, as long as it's cool or at night or something, and leave him in the car, and he'll be fine. So
if anyone watching does have questions, I'm just going to ask this now, so by the time we get done with our little topics, it'll still be kind of within the same topic. So what are some of the challenges that you've had to overcome with your pet while you're traveling or full-time RVing? And you can just let those trickle in, and we'll get to them after we get through this part. Learning all sorts of new things with these live streams. Right, so the next one is Blaze used to hop up in our 21-foot rig, which was about 2 inches shorter than our fifth wheel. But now he's like, nope, I'm not doing that anymore. So that's something we never realized that we're going to have to do, is lift up the guy every single time we get him up in the RV. I mean, it's a good workout. I mean, he's like 70 pounds. Deanna even lifts him up.
I can lift him up, yeah.
So we have to lift him up into the rig, and then it wasn't soon after. For the longest time, he was hopping up in the truck, which is actually higher than the RV.
Yeah.
So we still haven't figured out if it's the stairs.
Yeah, I don't think he liked the metal stairs.
But he used to just jump over the other stairs in the last rig, so just a little too high for him, I think, in this one, or awkward, since the couch is right by the door.
Yeah, I think that's it, is he can't just like jump straight in. He has to jump and like turn at the same time.
Yeah.
Just hard for a dog that's really long.
I can't really do it either, so I can't turn midair. Anyways, but so now he doesn't want to hop in the truck either, which is even more difficult to get in because the door is kind of in the way as we're trying to take him in there. So some challenges we've had to overcome.
And he doesn't like ramps. We've tried that too, because I'm sure people are going to suggest that.
Yeah, we went to like Camping World, and it was kind of a cheaper ramp. If it was like a sturdy, heavy-duty ramp, which would weigh more and take up more room, which we don't have, he'd probably be okay with that. But that's the problem. Let's see here. Getting used to a smaller space. I think we kind of already mentioned that earlier, but we adjusted to it fairly quickly, I think, as did Blaze.
Yeah. He doesn't really care as long as he has his own little corner.
Yeah, we were a little concerned about it because in our last rental house, he used to like kind of pace between different rooms throughout the day. We'd have beds in different rooms. He was he's still spoiled, but he was very spoiled then. So he would just kind of hop from bed to bed throughout the house, and that'd be kind of a little bit more exercise. So now he just kind of stretches, does the circle, and plops back down.
Yeah.
So we have to kind of make sure we get him enough exercise while we're at the RV park. And we already mentioned getting a bigger rig, so I didn't really think these through that well. Well, I don't see any comments on that particular subject, so I think we might just go ahead and keep on pushing forward. Happy trails, I can said. I am making dinner, listening, but not typing much anymore. Good work here. Enjoy dinner. All right. So the next one, things to consider when going from place to place. And as we figured out recently, knowing where your nearest emergency vet is very, very important.
Yeah.
When we had one situation in Tennessee where he did like break off his toenail, and that was bleeding quite a bit. And luckily there was a vet like 5 minutes away.
Yeah.
But that was obviously not planned. We didn't know the vet even was there when we went there. We just Googled it. Luckily we had enough cell signal, and we were able to find it. But recently, we really weren't aware of where the nearest emergency vet was, and it was a time when we really needed to know where that was.
Yeah.
So it's really going to be on our list from here on out to know where the nearest emergency vet. We know the nearest one here is only 15 minutes away, so that's a lot more convenient than the one at the last place, which was an hour away.
Yeah.
So, okay.
Should we go into that then? Or?
Give a quick summarized version, because you can probably do it a lot quicker than I can.
All right, so we knew Blaze had issues with his teeth. He's had dental procedures done in the past, but it had been a while, like several years since his last dental, so it was time for him to go in and do that. He needed some extractions, so he needed to go under anesthesia for it, and they ended up taking out, I think, like 11 or 12 of his teeth.
Yeah,
and
it was a lot.
It was a lot, yeah, for the poor guy. And they had him on some pain meds and stuff. So we got him home. He seemed okay, and then it was like 36 hours after. We woke up in the middle of the night to him like choking on like a lot of blood.
Yeah, he had a blood clot come out the night before, and they said it was normal, which we now realize
probably wasn't normal. Yeah, because it was a big blood clot. And so we looked up the emergency vet, took him there, and it turns out he has something that's fairly common with greyhounds that I had no idea, called fibrinolinic syndrome.
That's why she's saying it.
It's basically an issue post-surgery where like their blood doesn't clot correctly. Like it starts to clot and then it starts like breaking down basically. So like he wasn't able to clot the blood like around his teeth, I guess, and it was just like pouring out of both his mouth and his nose. And needless to say, we had to rush him to the emergency vet. He stayed there for like a day and a half.
It's pretty intense because they actually told us that he might bleed out. Like we thought we might actually lose him that night.
Yeah.
So we're pretty scared and emotionally involved into the situation. So
So they were able to get the bleeding under control, and we know now that if he has to go back for another surgery sometime in the future, he needs to go on some special medications that will hopefully help, but it's not guaranteed, so we're hoping he doesn't need any more surgery.
So another thing, just in general, if you plan on getting a dog, dogs can get fairly expensive. So I mean, you probably already know that, but just in case you're a new dog owner, some things might come unforeseen.
Yep.
Great job on the summarization, because I wouldn't have been able to cut it down to that short of a time period.
I felt like I was rambling, but hey.
Alright, so that's really scary. Yes, it was very scary. Oh no, just hopping onto the conversation, but was the emergency vet close? Is the hour away?
Yeah.
So it's probably delayed, so he probably already knows it.
Yeah, which we've definitely been places before where emergency vets weren't that close. I don't remember
even further than
what I was looking at, but somewhere in Utah, Monticello, Utah. For some reason, I looked at the emergency vet when we were there. Oh, when he hurt his hip he wasn't like laying down properly, and he looked like he was in like he pulled a muscle or something. It looked a lot worse than that though, because he wasn't even laying down right. But I looked at for an emergency vet there just to know where it was, and it was like over 2 hours away.
Yeah.
So like that's quite a ways if you're out in the middle of nowhere. Just keep in mind that.
Yeah, for little things we've learned to be able to fix ourselves, and what you might want to try to do too is always have a first aid kit with you, like blood clotting stuff. Like we knew he had a little bit of trouble with clotting blood beforehand with his toenails because they would always bleed, and we were able to stop the bleeding with the
quick clot stuff.
Quick clot stuff.
Yeah.
Which we still need to buy more of.
No, I bought more.
Okay.
Yeah, we're good.
But yeah, so trying to learn a little bit yourself for the more minor injuries is good, or at least be able to hold it off until you can get to emergency.
Yeah. So. Yep.
All right, that was bullet point A. So bullet point B. Getting annual checkups is still good to do, like us recently with the dental work on Blaze, and just getting normal checkup just to make sure he's doing just fine. Something you obviously want to try to keep up on your pets as well as yourself, which can be a little bit harder when you're on the road. Might have to stay in a location a little bit longer to be able to get those appointments in, especially if you're a new patient at that place.
Right. Yeah, we had planned it for the winter because we knew we would be around for several weeks, because you got to go in for the consultation, then you got to come back for one, like whatever, if it's something like a dental, the day of the dental, and then they want you to come back several weeks after that for a follow-up.
Yeah.
So
you kind of have to be committed at that point, or like what we did, we actually got some references to other dentists in the next town we're gonna be at. So like in Phoenix, they gave us, or from Tucson they gave us a recommendation in Phoenix. They knew some other doctors there, so it's a good thing. Is don't be afraid to ask questions. Always ask those things. So, all right. I think I saw or someone saying something down here. J Reed Outdoors says we stayed in the Smokies and our dog ate a bee. Wow. Don't laugh.
I'm not. No, that's frightening.
You're still gonna laugh. Just kidding. We called, and the closest one was about an hour or so away because of the mountains. We also worry about that stuff while traveling. 2 hours is a long way when you need them fast.
Yeah.
It is definitely far away, and when you're kind of freaking out about things, then it makes it a little bit worse. But so far, luckily, we've been able to keep our dog, and it looks like you were able to help your dog out as well.
Yeah.
So it's scary situations.
Yeah.
All right. So next one is, are there pet-friendly trails nearby, or how friendly is the RV park? And Deanna kind of went into the RV park a little bit earlier, but as far as pet-friendly trails, if you're trying to rely on national parks, mostly they usually aren't that dog-friendly, but there have been some dog-friendly parks, like Acadia National Park is a very dog-friendly park.
Yeah.
Gunnison, what's that one?
Black
Canyon, the Gunnison is fairly dog-friendly because you can walk into all the overlooks. There's other, some national parks have dog-friendly trails within them, like Smoky Mountains had like 1 or 2 dog-friendly trails, but it's usually fairly limited. So national parks aren't that great of a way to get your dog exercise, but state parks, most of the state parks are usually dog-friendly, and we've encountered
national forests too, I think.
Yeah, national forest, which is interesting. I still don't
I don't know why, but
I won't go into that.
It is.
Yeah. Let's see here. We stopped. Oh, we're gonna say how friendly are the RV parks. We kind of said already that it really depends on the RV park. Some of them actually have breed restrictions, or in some cases we've been to campgrounds where they said you can't have a dog over 30 pounds or whatever pound limit they set. Some of it's kind of weird, but you just kind of have to try to abide by the rules or hide your dog very well.
I mean, we've been to places like in Florida, that one we stayed at for the summer, or for the winter. I'm pretty sure it said like no dogs over 50 pounds.
Yes.
But then we had Blaze, who's 75 5, give or take.
We sold golden retrievers that
and there were like 100-pound dogs. Yeah.
Yeah. So
it depends on the place how well they're really enforcing it, but generally, like that time was an accident. I don't think we knew that.
Yeah.
But when we see it, obviously we try to abide by it.
See here, they do have some more comments in here. J Reed Outdoors. Do you do the annuals at the same vet, or do you reintroduce Blaze to a new vet every time you go? I think it would be hard to have a full-time vet while traveling. Yes, we did go into that a little bit earlier, so we'll just kind of summarize it. But so far we've just been hopping from vet to vet. Like we went to a vet in Dallas for his checkup I guess it was last year, kind of a mid checkup, I guess.
Yeah.
And he was saying he's probably going to need dental work soon, and then we took him to the dentist in Tucson. So it's not always easy. I mean, you could travel a lot more and hit all those up, but if you're like us, it's really our first goal is to try to see all the United States. Then we might kind of bounce around a little bit more.
Yeah.
But we're trying to plan our routes so that we can still kind of see as much as we can, and then afterwards. So it just depends on how your travel lifestyle is or how you want to travel, I guess.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Our dog is getting old, so we take our hikes during the day and then come back and take her on campground walks in the evening because they're generally flat and nice and easy walking. Yeah, we definitely try to take Blaze on the easier walks now that he's getting older. I think we have taken him on a few harder ones, but I think the last hardest one when we noticed the big difference was when we were in Acadia National Park when we were going up that Gorham Mountain or something like that. And he was really struggling. It wasn't even all that hot, so we're like, okay, he's getting older. He can't really do as much as he used to, so you got to draw those limits. So we try to. It doesn't make our videos as interesting sometimes in the adventure videos because we're doing the mountain climbing and stuff we used to, but we try to stick to something like under 500 feet elevation gain or something like that, or not like 3 to 4 miles at max.
Yeah.
He used to do 8 miles and stuff, but
he
can't really handle that.
Yeah.
Happy that Blaze pulled through. He's a toughie. Yep, he is, Mark. And Bruce Murray said, breed restrictions. Do you know what breeds? It's usually the ones that have a lot of stereotypes against them, like pit bulls.
Let me see if this place has one listed.
But yeah, there's basically any of the dogs that you have a lot of stereotypes, like pit bulls, German shepherds, Dobermans. What are some other ones that you can think of off the top of your head?
They don't say here.
Okay, yeah, they don't have any at our particular campground.
Yeah, Akitas, some places, even Huskies.
Or wolf mixes and stuff like that. That's a lot of the things we've seen.
Yeah.
Blaze can actually kind of look like a Doberman a little bit, so I think we get some weird looks sometimes at RV parks, but he's obviously such a friendly dog, he would never go after anyone, but they don't know that sometimes. I'm going to leave this short, not sidetrack too much, but there was a time when we were in New York hiking through, I think we were just tent camping at that point, but Blaze was with us, and a kid literally just like got off his bike and said, "Whoa!" and like jumped off the trail. We're like, and Blaze is like wagging his tail, wanting to see him, and I'm just like, he's a big black dog. I guess he can be a little frightening, but yeah. Anyways, I cut that one short.
Yeah, there you go. Okay. Good job.
All right, next bullet point. We're pushing forward here because what are we approaching? I don't even know. Does it say?
It's 38 after, so.
Okay. So we'll try to push this for like another 20 minutes and probably call it quits or so. Yeah, we already went over the breed restrictions, right? Okay.
Yeah.
If you leave your pet behind, is it cool enough? We kind of discussed it earlier. Warm enough for them? Are they being left, or are they okay with being left alone? It's kind of a challenge when you're in an RV because you leave them in RV parks aren't really known for reliable electric service.
Yeah, that's true. We've had our electricity cut off a few times.
Yeah, I mean most of the time we're fine. Honestly.
Yeah,
but
it's only been a handful of times.
Yeah, so I mean I guess it's kind of like home. If you live in an area that has maybe like California or something with a lot of power outages due to fires or something like that, you obviously want to have some sort of form of backup plan. Either get back to your rig quickly, having like that camera or some sort of temperature monitor, or I don't know, just I guess that's really all you can do.
Yeah.
Or just always leave your fan on, or make sure it's cool, or just keep a lookout on the weather forecast for the day.
And one thing that just popped in my head that I thought of is if your dog, let's say, is good with being left alone for like 8 or 12 hours, and like you leave in the morning when it's nice and cool, so like you would still leave the heat going. Most RVs that I'm, at least as far as I'm aware of, don't have the ability to automatically switch from like heating to cooling.
No, at least ours isn't. But maybe the higher models can. I don't know.
Yeah, like if there's a large temperature swing in your RV, that's another thing to watch for. Like, I know sometimes we leave in the morning and it's still really cold and we get back, and like by the time we get here, like the RV
It's
is
like an oven in here.
really warm. Yeah, so like that's one thing to keep in mind is since the RV is a smaller space, it tends to change temperature faster when you leave it.
Or if you're in the desert in the wintertime.
Yeah.
Sometimes lows in the freezing temperatures and highs in the 70s, so it's a big fluctuation.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
So I don't know that we really have a good way of dealing with that, but we haven't really. I mean, we're here, like we don't leave him long enough for that really to be an issue.
Or we try to leave at a certain time where it's not going to be an issue. We can set that temperature where it needs to be.
Yeah.
Let's see here. If your dog's food may be in one part of the country but not in the other parts of the country.
Yeah.
We kind of found that out with his brand Crave, where in some parts of the country it's stocked in the Walmarts. Other times we get to a place where we're running short on food and they don't have it anywhere.
Find it. Yeah.
And if you have a picky eater like ours who just won't eat anything else, that could be an issue. So Amazon 2-day shipping. Crave's on Amazon at least. But
yeah.
Quick little side story on that one too. We're at the place we're in Benson, Arizona for about a month. We were so excited because the grocery store right next door had Crave, and then it literally stopped like selling Crave as we were there at the RV park right when we needed to buy food. I'm like, that is very unlucky.
We waited too long. I mean, we don't have that much room to store a bag of food, and this is probably the case in most RVs. Like, we'd like to buy him a really big bag of food to have enough, but we can't store it really feasibly. So, or we don't want to tow 22 pounds of dog food around.
Yeah, I always try to have to compromise every once in a while.
So yeah, we generally find the smaller bags, but then it only lasts like a week and a half or 2 weeks, and you gotta look for it more often. So
yeah,
something to keep in mind is how much storage space do you have for something like that.
And Bruce said we are a Rottie family, so we've seen Rottweilers though at campgrounds, so it just really depends on the campground you're at, what the rules are. So always be aware, because obviously if you're full-time RVing or if you're counting on a job and you need to leave in the middle of the day and you weren't expecting that, it can cause some problems. So it's good to try to keep up on all campground rules, not just the dog family stuff. Let's see here. We already went over this one, so we can probably skip over that one, right?
Yeah.
Yep. All right. Well, I think we're actually wrapping things up. I guess before we wrap up, are there any other questions that you may have for us? There's going to be a delay in here before you hear what I just said, so I'll wait a little bit for you to type those questions in there. But otherwise, we'll probably be wrapping up here soon. Blaze has had fun sleeping on his brand new bed this entire time.
Yeah, we just got him a new bed. That's another story. We had issues with losing packages and shipping, and
luckily we're here at this RV park for a little while, so it didn't impact us. But most situations it would have been a bad situation. They actually lost his bed. UPS did somehow, and luckily we were able to get another one shipped to us.
Yeah, and he's loving it so far. So.
Yeah, he is. I don't think he's moved since
he really
we started
hasn't moved.
This,
so. He was kicking his front feet in his sleep a minute ago.
What is next week's topic? You know what? We probably need to figure that out.
Yeah.
So if you guys have any topics you would like to suggest us, you could always send that on Facebook, Instagram, or any of the social medias. And this would be a good thing to discuss, and we can discuss
anything you guys are wondering about, let us know, and we can try and make it into something fun.
Yeah, we'll probably try to cover some of the basics of RVing and stuff every once in a while, like what are the essential items for RVing. I've been thinking about things in the past, but there's a bunch of topics that could be discussed related
Yeah.
to full-time RVing, and if there's anything in particular you're curious about, we could probably turn it into another live stream.
Mhm.
So let's see here. Enjoyed seeing you guys live stream. Thank you, J Reed Outdoors. Great new series. Check out the website, DnSAdventures. You guys are awesome. Okay, so we'll just hop over to the little wrap-up section
Okay.
here. I know I'm organized. So yeah, just reminders to me so I don't forget things. If you are catching the replay of the live stream, thanks for watching all the way through, because this is about an hour long, 45 minutes long. I know this isn't exciting without the ability to interact with us as you would in the live stream, but I appreciate you guys watching this video all the way to this point, or even if you skip through to get to this point. We all do it, let's be honest.
Yeah.
But we appreciate everyone joining. And thanks to everyone else that joined on live today and commented on our video. This is our first episode, so we weren't really expecting a ton of people to hop on today, but for those that you did join, thank you very much. We appreciate it. It makes it more fun for us too to be able to interact with you guys during the live stream. And also be sure to check out our next video here. Shout out to Mountaintop Adventures, Michael and Taylor. They actually challenge us to, what's the exact, did I write down the exact thing? 10 full-time RV question challenge. That's what it's called. I've seen a lot of other full-time RV YouTube channels make this, but we're going to be hopefully getting that out to you guys by Tuesday of next week. I've been just putting them out in the evening because people seem to be more available to watch videos in the evening than during work, which makes sense.
Well, we wouldn't be making a video then because we're working too.
Yeah, we're watching a video, but yeah.
Maybe you are.
Anyways.
We had another question though.
Oh, just to finish up on that topic before we hit that, we're also going to be challenged 2 other YouTube channels that are also full-time RVing families or couples to make a challenge video themselves. So be on the lookout for that on Tuesday. See, I can't edit out all my stutters during the live stream. That's the bad part about these things. Okay, and the question, how about trip planning? That would be, I'm assuming that's just for a subject rather than an actual question.
Yeah, well, I know, it's part of the lead out process.
Yeah. That's, trip planning is a good one.
Yeah.
We kind of have a routine around that, so we can share our routine with you guys. Obviously, there's so many different types of way the RV, I mean, people move daily, some people move weekly, some people move monthly, some people don't move at all. Mm-hmm. So it just depends on what you want to see, what you want to do, or what your budget is. So that'd be a good one.
Yeah, I like that idea.
That might be the next one. Maybe that's what we'll do. We'll go by whatever the suggestions are in the video, so people are more.
What if we get like 5 different suggestions though?
Then we'll have to draw it out of a hat, I guess. We'll figure it out though. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. I hope you all have a great evening and a happy weekend since it is Friday. It's Friday.
It is Friday.
It's Friday.
Yay,
we made it. And as always,
adventure on.
That's always going to squeeze in there. Thank you guys, and we will talk to you later. I actually have to go over there now because I can't reach the
You want me to do it?
You can find. You want me to just stay in here?
Should we show Blaze for like 20 seconds?
Sure. If you might have to move the whole tripod though.
Oh, okay. I can do that.
Don't show that. Nice.
There's Blaze. This is what he's been doing the whole time. He says, "Good night, everyone."
Good night. Have a good one.